Hello everyone. On Reddit there are two very interesting postings about Star Citizen Alpha Engineering Tech Preview Playtest. First, the patch notes, this was not made public. I will just scroll down, I talk about things I find interesting. If you want to read everything, you can just pause the video. Overview of all components. One-time repair through a button click for completely broken items to allow single seaters and one time of repair. Critical state and health overview of all components. On and off control of all components. Heat management of items. Items that are powered will produce heat that needs countering of coolers. Overheated components will shut off to cool down again. Life support management. Life support will manage preferable atmosphere and temperature of rooms. Not yet affected by players' briefing. I hope that CRG won't overdo it when they put this into the game later. Yes, humans produce carbon dioxide, but it's not much. It won't affect you in the rooms we have in Star Citizen for hours. But I guess CRG will overdo it. And of course we have carbon dioxide scrappers. Is this another technology lost 900 years into our future, Chris? Affected by fire. Affected by venting the ship. So are we actually getting an atmospheric room system? This would be very nice. Fire on ships. Fire can spread. Fire can be triggered through overheated components. Fire can get triggered through damaging of components. Shooting components with energy or ballistic weapons. Fire can be extinguished, venting of rooms or fire extinguishers. Yeah, how about an automatic system? But no, you have to do everything manually 900 years into our future. Info, right now temperature needs to be brought down to prevent reignition. Relays connect items throughout the ships. Relay function changed and is not in yet. Goal, fully intact relays allow a full power throughput. That means each fuse that gets destroyed will reduce the total power available in the ship. Change, relays are not a hard weak point anymore, where if you lose all fuses you render that part of the ship dead. So it's not about relays anymore, it's all about those silly fuses. Yeah. Component damage. Ship weapons will penetrate the hull and damage the components below. This is nothing new, we already have this in the game. Weapons with area of effect physical damage, like missiles, torpedoes, and a long time ago, Boeing C-788 gun could damage components through shields. But I guess when shields are down, energy weapons will damage components now too. By the way, I don't think this is tracing every bullet, because Star Citizen has still so much trouble with these things. Component death will result in component not being functional, but it can be repaired. In a single-seater ship, you have to get into EVA while you are in a fight. Good luck. Yeah. Power plant can go into a critical state that will make the ship explode. Yeah, is this now back? I don't like this. This is so movie-like. Yeah, power plants, when damaged, always explode in movies. Info cannot be countered yet, but is supposed to get countered through repair or removing the power plant if possible. Okay, my power plant is about to explode. I will just remove it and then I'm stranded in space without a power plant. Again, most likely in the middle of a fight. Info, armor of ships is not in yet, did not make it in time. If this goes to live, I expect a lot of ships are getting disabled when hit by just a few shots or a few missiles, torpedoes. Weapon balancing. Updated weapon balancing to account for penetration and new damage. I'm looking forward to show you the numbers when I see them and to test this. Ship component balancing. Full new balancing for components. Heat generation, new. Update of health. Yeah, health of components was all over the place. I hope the new numbers make a lot of sense. Damage resistances. First person shooting, no idea what this means. Maybe it's about player armor. Repair gun now repairs components. Repair rate updates AMD consumption update. Yeah, once again, it's just a magic beam. Fire extinguisher cools down and extinguishes fire. Yeah, what about automatic systems like CO2, like Halon, like anything? No, you either have to vent your ship or you have to manually put out a fire using one of those fire extinguishers. Yeah, 900 years into our future. And we have this posting, Tech Preview Engineering. By the way, links to those two postings is in my first pinned comment below. Before we start, I cannot confirm this, there are no screenshots. Take this with a grain of salt, but looks genuine to me. I first tried out a calc. I stood in front of the terminal and was completely overwhelmed. The first thing it opened was a view showing all the rooms with their temperatures. I saw around 30 rooms or so. The entire screen was filled with symbols, so I tried to get a bit of an overview of what everything was. In the top left you have a display showing 3 values: life support, cooling system and full power. On the right side you get notifications. Below that is the actual terminal you work with, which also has 3 tabs on the left side. The first tab is a new feature that lets you control all the doors and similar systems. The second tab is the one we already know. It's for managing energy. The third tab is for setting up configurations. You can create multiple setups and save them however you like. Okay, that's very nice, very good. At the bottom there are 5 new buttons. The first shows how the power lines are routed. The second shows all the doors. The third shows all the components. The fourth shows the temperature in all rooms. The fifth shows which components are damaged. All the way to the right there's a button to lock and unlock all doors. So I was inside the calc and honestly a bit overwhelmed by everything I was seeing. I started playing around with the doors. You can open, close and block them all independently. What does block mean? Does block mean lock? Then I moved on to the rooms where you can toggle whether air is supplied or not. I'm not sure if it worked or if it was because I was still on area 18, but you can at least see the temperature and status of each room. Then I checked the components and some were damaged. Everything was displayed clearly and nicely. Okay, that's good to hear. Because it all felt a bit complex, I thought about trying a smaller ship, the cutter. Unfortunately, the buttons didn't work to open the door, so I grabbed my railgun and shot the door. The effects are new. The impact was really beautiful, a perfect round hole. Okay, that's very interesting. I probably caused too much damage with that one shot because the components caught fire. I grabbed a fire extinguisher to put it out. Then I took my multi-tool to try and repair the components. There's a new interface showing which component it is and how much damage it has. Unfortunately, I couldn't refill my multi-tool to test the repairs. After that, I tried 2 other ships, the Cutlass Black and High Sea, but they didn't work. We were already told that only about 70 ships are currently functional. Then I tried Corsair, that was much more manageable. I ran the same tests again. This time I also shot at components to set them completely on fire. The fire kept growing and the temperature rose significantly. I also tried a few tests to remove the air from the room, but it didn't work either. Not sure if it's broken or if it is because I was still on area 18. Luckily, the damage wasn't too bad, so I tried flying out to space to repeat the test. I flew upward. I'm not sure what happened, but suddenly the ship lost all power and I crashed. I reclaimed the same ship and tried flying farther away using a quantum jump. As I was flying, I noticed temperature rising in the bottom left corner. I was about to report it as an issue, but after the quantum jump, my entire ship shut down. I walked to the engineering terminal and saw that the power plants were over 200 degrees. Luckily, temperature was already dropping. I went back to the pilot seat and suddenly I had power again on all systems. I scrolled to the settings and saw that the cooling system was turned off. I turned it on and the problem was solved. I was heading to an ASD facility to refill my multi-tool so I could test component repairs, but when I landed, the hanger disappeared and I fell through the ground. After logging back in, I kept getting server errors. After an hour, I unfortunately gave up. My overall impression, it's insanely cool. And the gameplay for engineering is really starting to get fun. This looks very interesting but seems to be very complex. My thoughts? Who wants to stand or sit at an engineering console and click on a few things now and then? I think NPCs could do this, but CRG stated there won't be NPC crews in 1.0. What about fast reactions? Standing at an engineering console, having to manage something very important in the middle of a fight and getting thrown onto your butt? Sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. There are a lot of engineering stations that don't even have a seat. What about the UI? CRG and good user interfaces live on 2 different worlds. For Chris, a UI has to look cool and cinematic, holographic design, ghosting text, ghosting icons. Usability and function never play a role for Chris. I'm looking forward to screenshots of the engineering console proving me wrong, but this is CRG. What about smaller ships that do not have a dedicated engineering station? Can we still lock doors from an engineering MFD from the pilot seat? Selika wrote he can set atmosphere to 30 rooms of the calc, but I don't think this is an atmospheric room system. The rooms are most likely not connected, say by opening a door. We already have this in the game as a bug. Some parts of some ships have no atmosphere, but are part of a bigger room that has atmosphere. Yeah. How can we prevent strangers sneaking onto our ships, glitching inside? Remember, Star Citizen is clip galore and messing with our ships via engineering console, or just stealing fuses? Last time I checked, I could easily steal fuses of ships that are not mine. Overall, I'm looking very forward to engineering and there will be a lot of tests. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye. Auf Wiedersehen.
No.
Hi, I'm Mark Hamill, though starring in Wing Commander. I'm also featured on Mask of the Phantasm.
Wow.
Now this can be yours for
Oh, troublemaker.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that top. Look at that. That's real plastic, too. That is. See, what you do is you open it.
Towards Billy Butler.
You open it, and then you smell the plastic. Oh, that was a good week. Very good week.
Hey, if you got those plastic champagne glasses we asked for.
Oh, dear me.
There you go, Tom.
That's very kind of you. You didn't have to do that. This would be just fine. The way I drink.
Oh, Cliff.
Hey, don't start with me, Bernard. Thank you. That's very nice. Man, if you people weren't in costume.
Chris isn't.
Hey, you're still here. You might want to join me on Twitter or on Blue Sky.